It is always nice to get up in the morning and see Tesla with some advantageous headlines. On any given day, there are hundreds to choose from, but they're usually about a Tesla automobile driven by a 9-year-old drunk who hit a curb and left a skid mark. Or maybe this actual headline today: Tesla criticized for canceling pie order with San Jose shop worth thousands. but today was that was a real headline. But today was much better. Check these out. I am not a huge fan of the Motley Fool, but they do have a huge presence on the web. So this article's going to get distributed and read. The headline was Best Artificial Intelligence AI Stock, Palantir versus Tesla versus Super Microcomputer. Making the comparison between these three puts in the mind of people that Tesla should be considered in that group of AI stocks. The headline, and it was enough in this case. The article includes Tesla as one of their top 10 picks in the AI space. For me, storyline is all about Tesla being in the headline. Then we have this from Barron's. Tesla stock has an NVIDIA risk, which once again aligns Tesla with tech, not auto. That was the headline. That the article was worthless. It was a stupid article, but the headline, again, aligns Tesla with AI. We've got this one from the Toronto Star, which I think is the first mainstream media article I have seen that was a feature article on the Cybertruck. And the headline is Elon Musk and his Cybertruck are bucking the trend of our times to be boring. So I don't know what he means by even, and you read the article, you kind of get, he's talking about that a lot of cars are boring right now. They just are trying to, design the car so that it slips through, the air easily and therefore gets high gas mileage. But anyway, the only thing is what we've got here is another positive headline about Tesla and about the Cybertruck in a mainstream media publication. And then joining the love fest was this interesting headline from Barron's. Tesla stock is rising. Low EV pricing can be good after all. Well, that was super interesting there. Somebody agreeing that Elon made the smart decision with regard to lowering the pricing last year. At the same time, come on, folks, I get some comments from time to time saying, Randy, you said in your title or your headline or your thumbnail that Tesla is up or Tesla is down or Tesla is whatever, and it's no longer true. So if the mainstream media, if all of the media can make these kinds of headlines, they're never going to be right an hour from now or 2 hours from now. Come on, guys, give me a break. All right. Anyway, this is from Investors Business Daily. What makes Meta magnificent makes Tesla terrible. Now, normally that's where the headline would end. But in this particular case, there's a parenthesis, for now. What makes Meta magnificent makes Tesla terrible, parentheses, for now, and parentheses. So once again, a positive article this morning and putting Tesla in the category of Meta. Well, for the next one, you'd have to read the article. Elon Musk has only visited the White House once during Biden's term, and he didn't meet the president. If you read the article, you learn that he was there to discuss artificial intelligence. Well, this isn't a headline, but a post on X that has 7,000 views in 20 minutes, and it's from Gene Munster. It's getting more clear. Elon is 80% genius and 20% master of good luck. In a decade, his purchase of Twitter will power XAI to rival Tesla and SpaceX as its greatest source of wealth creation. The reason is that Twitter's data is a powerful, best source of real-time attention, and he'll use the data to train XAI to be a top 3 foundation model. Those models should be valued in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Bloomberg estimates his current net worth at about 210 billion. So Gene Munster this morning, he's a big Elon Musk fan, let's face it, okay? At least he is now. But he claims that this had something to do with luck. Come on, folks. He's all right, 5% good luck. And hey, listen, In every one of my books that I've written on business, I talk about luck being one of the top 10 reasons why businesses succeed or fail. So yes, Elon certainly has good luck, but man, it's more about all those other things, hard work, persistence, etc. Hey, this is Randy Kirk. If you haven't already done it, would you please hit like? I mean, actually do it. I mean, actually physically reach up and push. Anyway, it'd be really nice if you could do that. Hit subscribe if you haven't already done that, and then hit notify because, of course, later on today, I think I'm going to have Brian Wang. But if it's not Brian Wang, it will be Brian White. It really will be. So it'll either be wrong or right, Wang or right. Anyway, Brian will be coming this morning. I'm not sure exactly what he's going to talk about, but I think it will be the bot. And then, of course, later this evening, we will have Bradford Ferguson coming on to talk about all the good news that happens during the rest of today. And then if you could join Patreon and buy some Cybertruck bottle openers and refrigerator magnets. I mean, it's the same thing. Those things will both help to support the channel, and I'll appreciate it a lot. Okay. All right. So then we have, if we get into the serious news here, NVIDIA is having an amazing and well-earned minute in the sun, and their story is just beginning. But Tesla will eclipse this when robo-taxis happen. And when Optimus happens, it's not even going to be close. So good for you, NVIDIA. But man, the place to invest right now is in the stock that hasn't gone up yet. And when you get the combination of sexy, Cybertruck, Megapack, Semi, and the charging network, you're probably going to have you will have a NVIDIA and an Apple. You're going to have a company that's worth 5-6 trillion even before you add in Robotaxi and Optimus. Anyway, if you read the next article, you might get a tad worried until you thought about it for a minute. This is from Exponential Capital on X. He posts under the name Tesla_Tizzler, Tizzler. He says this is from the NVIDIA earnings call last night. We estimate that the data center revenue contribution of the automotive vertical through the cloud or on-prem exceeded 1 billion last year. NVIDIA Drive infrastructure solutions include systems and software for the development of autonomous driving, including data ingestion, creation, labeling, and AI training, plus validation through simulation. Goes on to say that almost 80 vehicle manufacturers across global OEMs, new energy vehicles, trucking, robotaxi, and tier 1 suppliers are using NVIDIA's A1 infrastructure to train LLMs and other AI models for automated driving and AI cockpit applications. And in fact, nearly every automotive company working on AIs is working with NVIDIA. As AV algorithms move to video transformers and more cars are equipped with cameras, we expect NVIDIA's automotive data center processing demands to grow significantly. So, unless there's something that we don't know, they have no data. Without 1 billion or so hours of driving data, it seems unlikely that they can be a player, but they are definitely providing a lot of the engines for Tesla and obviously for lots of other folks right now. And they also talk about, of course, the video part of this, which Jeff Lutz says. He says, I take this as a Jensen/NVIDIA endorsement of the Tesla/Musk approach to autonomy to truly solve at scale and at lowest cost. For time to market, Tesla has the data lead for now, and most important is the engineering talent focused from the inference computer in vehicle, Tesla design, back to their own data center, parentheses using NVIDIA H100 for training, keeping everything essentially under one roof. NVIDIA continues Jeff, NVIDIA is building a great business to own the data processing, inference compute, and much of the engineering for these other automakers. If Tesla can scale Dojo, they can also, Tesla, have a viable alternative to NVIDIA. All right, so again, Tesla's so far in the lead. NVIDIA clearly a big lead on the hardware side, on the chip side, on et cetera. But Tesla overall in this space has got the big, giant lead. from notebookcheck.net. All right, now listen to this. This is going to be a little sad. I'm sorry. It's not all good news. The long-awaited Model Y Juniper refreshed release that was previously rumored for as early as this summer has been postponed by Tesla. After telling its reps to inform future Model Y buyers in the U.S. that a Juniper facelift isn't coming until 2024, there were some hopes that the refresh version may still be launched this year in China. But after all, the Model 3 Highland started its global journey in China first, then went to Europe, etc. But Tesla China, however, has reportedly confirmed for the local financial Associated Press that it too has no Model Y Juniper refresh pending in the sales channel pipeline for this year, moving all hope to 2025. Unless a surprise comes out of Giga Berlin, that is, but seeing as the European-made Model Ys still come out with hardware 3.0 kits from the factory, that seems unlikely. Since the beginning of the year, Tesla commenced a new Model Y price cut campaign that rippled from China to Europe and the US in various shape and form of the discounts and incentives. This sparked speculation that it might have been decided to clear inventory for the Model Y Juniper. However, Elon Musk dispelled the rumor, saying the current Model Y price adjustments are based on seasonal demand, while Tesla reportedly sent an internal memo advising its reps to tout the current Model Y deals, as there is no Juniper refresh coming to North America this year. So, sounds like Tesla is not going to have a Juniper this year. I'm sad about that. I'd like to see Juniper as soon as possible. I really think it's important that they do that quickly, but they've got their reasons, and I can't really know what those are. From Brett Adcock this morning, he goes under Adcock_ Brett. You know who he is. He's the guy over at Figure. He says, this is interesting. Somebody compiled the timeline for getting to bipedal walking. So what he's talking about there is, various of the robots now, humanoid types, have the ability to walk. And he said somebody out there went and checked out how long did various companies take to get to the bipedal stage. And he says, oftentimes people think two-legged walking is the hardest part. This was true a decade ago, but not anymore. Not sure how anybody knows. And I'm saying, that was at the end of his thing. I'm saying, I'm not sure how anybody knows this for sure, but his chart showed Tesla at 15 months and Figure at 12 months as how long it took them to get to bipedal walking. Again, I don't think anybody really knows unless they were there. Anyway, this would be, though, compared to Boston Dynamics taking 21 years and Honda 8 years. Now, does that mean Boston Dynamics was trying to get to bipedal walking and took them 21 years to get there? I think that means from the time they opened their doors. Honda 8 years. Again, I think this is a little fishy, but the idea is correct. The idea that Brett is talking about, that it is not as hard today. It is not that difficult to get to bipedal. Okay, this is from the real E.J. Antoni on X. He says, the Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations unexpectedly fell in January to 2.2%. This is the lowest level since February 21 and nearing the largest, nearing both the target rate and the pre-pandemic average of 2.0. Given the profit margin diffusion index is at -25, the forecast seems to be driven by demand destruction. Okay, this is really important. Think this through. The Atlanta Fed, not Truflation, not anybody else, not CPI, not PPI, not PCE. No, this is the Atlanta Fed. Their inflation expectation fell to 2.2%. And its reason for that going down to 2.2 is driven by demand destruction. Truflation has changed their numbers yet again, this time by a very small amount, and only, I think, for the last week. I can't quite tell, but it looks like only for about a week or even less. But their numbers are still have inflation at 1.76%, and this marks 22 days well under 2%. And right now, it's been around that 1.76 range. We also have this morning, of course, the Reuters reporting on the initial claims for state unemployment. Those dropped unexpectedly. Again, I don't think anybody has a good handle on what's going to happen on this before it happens. But initial claims for state unemployment benefits dropped 12,000 to a seasonally adjusted 201,000 for the week ended February 17th, according to the Labor Department. Economists polled by Reuters had expected 218,000, so missing big time on that number. Claims are hovering at historically low levels despite high-profile layoffs at the beginning of the year. Again, I'm seeing layoffs from the tech sector that are the higher-paying jobs, and a lot of these jobs are going into the services. A lot of where the jobs are being made up is in services industry, which are typically lower-paying jobs. And then the number of people receiving benefits, this is always the important one, the number of people receiving benefits after an initial week of aid, which is a proxy for hiring, fell 27,000 to 1.862 million during the week ending February 10th, the report showed. Okay, well, let's see what all of this is having in terms of an effect on the market. And as always, we will start with Tesla, who has been jumping up and down this morning. It is another one of these kind of days. Pre-market, it was actually slightly up. Post-market is now down $1.51 in what is otherwise an up market. We have the Dow Jones up 339, the NASDAQ up 350, and the S&P up 75. All of the Mag 7, except for Tesla, are up. And of course, Tesla, as I mentioned, down $1.50. We've got the Dow, and then in the percentages, that would be the Dow Jones up 0.9, the NASDAQ up 2.28. Of course, it's almost all NVIDIA. And then the S&P up 1.53, though, again, NVIDIA strongly affecting that. We have got, like, for instance, Apple up 0.5, Google up 1.2, Amazon up 2.4, though. That's really good. Meta up 3.2, Microsoft up 2, but NVIDIA up 13.7%. Almost all the Cathie Woods are also up this morning. Don't know what's going up with Tesla, down 0.69%, or as mentioned, now $1.35. The tendency this morning, right now, I've been watching it, for what is it now, almost a half an hour. It looks like Tesla is going to be back in the green shortly. Who knows why it's down this morning? My best theory this morning would be that money is moving out of Tesla and into NVIDIA. I think we're seeing a lot of that kind of transfer in terms of, and it might not only be out of Tesla into NVIDIA, but others of the Magnificent Seven, where people are trying to ride the current horse. And but now, even as I'm sitting here, Tesla is at only down $1.26. All right, let's look at the bonds. The bonds were flat earlier. We've got the 10-year down 1.6 basis points. We have got the rest of the bonds basically up. So the inversion continuing to spread. The inversion spreading a lot this morning, with the 10-year down almost 2 basis points, but the 2-year up 2.5 basis points. So this is now got the spread at over 37, almost 37. Yeah, 37 basis points. This is the widest I've seen it in a while. The 2-month also is up this morning, almost a basis point. So those spreads are widening. And I don't know. It's like, okay, we know that there was one pundit that chimed in. I've only seen it this one time. Nobody else is talking about this inversion. I mean, they'll mention it in passing, but nobody's talking about it in terms of foundational principles or why it's continuing so long, except, of course, Cathie Wood has talked about it a lot. But the one person that seemed to have some kind of an explanation said the Treasury is putting out way more of the short terms because the rates are higher. So the Treasury wants to only put out the short terms because then you can convert those to longer terms as the rates come down. So putting out a lot of short term, and that's what's keeping those up. Makes sense to me. Obviously, that would cause that. But yesterday, apparently, there was an auction. I didn't see it, and didn't see it this morning either. where there was long terms, 10 years or 7 years involved, and yet those are rates are down, meaning the values are up this morning on those two longer term ones, specifically the 10-year and the 7-year, while the rest of them, the rates are up, meaning the values are down. So it's really, really hard. I'm flummoxed a little here. All right, we have got oil up slightly, 22 cents this morning at 78. The top of the range seems to be at 78 right now. This is 78.12. Brent is almost exactly $5 higher right now. So that's been true for a while, around $5. It got as high as 6 on that spread as the Red Sea got hot. It's now down to around 5. It has been lower, but right now it's around 5. Natural gas down again 2.76% at $1.72, but that's still 20 cents, or what would that be? 30%. Anyway, substantially higher than $1.52. I'm having a hard time doing that in my head right now. Okay, we have got the dollar slipping a tiny, tiny bit this morning. The PMI releases, the purchasing managers indexes have been released in Europe, and those were better than expected. But the PMI has just come out here. I'm not seeing anything here that I can give you a headline in that right now, but I will report that tonight with Brad Ferguson. We have got, I'm sorry, okay, we got the crypto is up 351 at 51.3, so it is still sitting under that 53, which last night Jeff Lutz indicated there's kind of a 53, which it needs to break through in order to go much higher. Okay, let's go back to Tesla real quick just to see if it's managed. No, down $1.88. So it's sitting in that right around down $2 has been kind of the middle of where it's been this morning. But everything else is up this morning with Tesla down a tad. All right, so this again, I'd love to have you hit like and subscribe and notify. I had a video yesterday with Scott Walter. It did not do that well. Scott Walter videos usually do extremely well. I don't know why. I don't know. I tried different headlines. I tried different thumbnails, but for some reason it didn't do that well. And it's a really good one. If you didn't see the video yesterday with Scott, we were talking about some really important stuff with regard to Optimus, and talking about how the physics works, how the bot understands the physical world, but the physics within the physical world. We talked about how to speed the bot up. It's walking, its ability to do jobs, how to get the hands to move faster so that it's more at human rate or even superhuman rate. We talked about maintenance. What is maintenance going to look like on bots? I mean, these are 3 important subjects that nobody else is talking about. And so I just recommend you go back and take a look at that. I'll put the card right here. Later today, Brian White or Wang. I'm not sure 100%. I think it'll be Brian Wang. Probably also talking about Optimus. We'll see where that goes. And I think that's all I've got for you right now, except you should join Patreon. Please join Patreon. It's Randy Kirk, and I've just really enjoyed talking to you today.